Konnichiwa, folks. This is John from AnimeNation, along with Gene, who's behind the camera, because we still exist. But we'll discuss that a little bit more momentarily. Some of you may be aware and may recall that 2 months ago I made an order to the Japanese second-hand retailer Mandarake, and I was a little bit frustrated that due to Mandarake's ordering policies I wasn't able to order any adult material. Now that's not because I'm necessarily in extreme hentai or something, it's just that some of the things that I collect happen to involve adult material or happen to have adult iterations. So I discovered that the competitive second-hand retailer Suruga-ya has started doing international sales, and so I decided, well, I've been to their stores in Tokyo, so let's try out their online sales to see how they do, how they compare to Mandarake. Now I can tell you firsthand that their selection is not as big, but then nothing is, because Mandarake is the is the retailer for second-hand anime merchandise worldwide, and particularly in Japan. So they are the #1 go-to place. So Suruga-ya has a smaller selection, but there are certain items that are available via Suruga-ya that may not be through Mandarake, because Mandarake is the first place everyone goes to look, and thus they sell out of items more rapidly. Moreover, Suruga-ya will actually accept international orders for adult merchandise without having to jump through an excessive number of loops or hoops or holes. However, I will inform you that at the present time, for God knows why, Suruga-ya will not accept direct Visa or MasterCard payments. This makes no sense to me, because if Visa and MasterCard are the two biggest credit card companies on the planet, if you're trying to do international business, you probably want to accept them. I have heard from a relatively reliable source that Japan is currently having some dispute with Visa and MasterCard, which may explain why Suruga-ya isn't taking them. However, if you are only ordering all ages products through Suruga-ya, you can pay via PayPal. You can also pay for adult merchandise via Alipay. However, to sign up for Alipay, you must do so through a cell phone app, and I don't have a cell phone, so thus I could not sign up for Alipay. So I had to have a friend pay for me. I reimbursed the friend. Now, what I can say, and you can see about Suruga-ya, is that the company clearly does not package as deliberately as Mandarake does. This particular shipment, which we are about to open, cost $780 in total. That's about $280 in EMS shipping and about $500 worth of merchandise. So for nearly $300 in shipping, I'm glad it got here in a week, but as you can see, I'm quite aggravated, quite concerned, quite nervous that it arrived in such deplorable condition. So let's take a look at what's inside this and see, number one, what all this stuff is, so I can get a closer look at it as well as you can, and see what condition it's all in. Now, of course, I could bust this open like a true samurai. However, given the condition that this box is in and the damage it's already suffered, I kind of want to take pity on it. So instead, I will use something a little bit more efficient. So let's see what's in here. Now, as is the case for Mandarake, I deliberately ordered all of this merchandise. So I know what's in here, but I don't know the specifics, I don't know the details, I don't know sizes, I don't know conditions. And moreover, with my Mandarake order, I was purchasing partly merchandise to try to resell. There's none of that in here. 99% of this is merchandise strictly for my own collection. There is a little bit of stuff in here that is for sharing. Moreover, as I mentioned, a lot of this is adult material, so in order to keep our video universally friendly, I'm going to be deliberately censoring the graphic aspects of what I'm purchasing here. Of course, if you have any questions or curiosity about any specific items, do feel free to just drop me an email. So we have our receipt, and if you take a look, the total price of the goods was 61,020 yen, which was about 500 something dollars. 23,850 yen, all right, in shipping. So I might have gotten our statistics a little bit off. So actually, this is probably closer to $600 in merchandise. No, that doesn't... I know there were discounts, but anyway, it was between $500 and $600 for the merchandise and about $200 for the shipping. I know the total came up to $780 US. So, the first things I see on top are my beloved Kyoka Nendoroid figure from Kyoran Kazoko Niki. I'm glad to see that the box appears to be in good shape. It's a particularly vivid and colorful box. I really like the logos all over the place. I don't know how many of you remember this particular light novel-based anime series about a very, very bizarre makeshift family. However, I really, really enjoyed this show tremendously, and I thought Kyoko was just a fantastic character, so I'm really, really happy. I have a gashapon figure of her, so now I'm really happy to have a full-sized, well, by Nendoroid size, full-sized Kyoko figure.
Put that on the floor.
Let's take that and hold that. It's heavy. Alright. Next, Nendoroid figure. Kick here. Are we okay? Did we survive that?
We're good.
Alright.
We're still alive, baby.
That's AnimeNation for you. We just keep ticking, don't we? I can hear stuff rattling around inside my Tanishima Papura Nendoroid figure from working. However, maybe I just have a fascination for little anime girls because Popla is also, as you know, a little anime girl, as in small in stature. But I really loved all 3 seasons of working, and I really did love Papura, so I'm pleased to have a Nendoroid figure of her as well. And again, let's see, what did I pay for this? 1,800 yen, so roughly, what, about $15 is what she cost. And Kyoka was, I guess that's not a price. Where's the price on? I guess she doesn't have a price on her, but I think she was even cheaper. I think. So, let's see. Wow, alright. This is one of the reasons why we do an unboxing, so we see relative sizes. These are bigger than I anticipated. I love anime props. Some of you may recall that, what was it, two seasons ago? It was earlier this year. There was a kind of retro throwback female ninja, or I guess you could say kunoichi anime series called Release the Spice. I know Sentai Filmworks licensed it. Well, these are ninja belt pads, belt pouches with the Release the Spice logo on them. So, and they appear to be brand new in original packaging. As I recall, these were, I think, $8 or $9. So I did not watch a whole lot of the show, but the fact that I can have replica ninja belt pouches from a recent ninja anime, I think is really, really neat. We have 3 desk pads here. The first one, Strike Witches, or actually is this? Yes, this is Strike Witches, Operation Victory Arrow from the OVA series. I believe this is called a desk mat, but it is printed on thick stock. I don't know if this is laminated paper or very thin plastic, but this was labeled as a desk mat for example, going underneath your keyboard or some such. But they also clearly make nice small posters, and these were like $1, maybe $2. At the price, they're hard to pass up. Here's one from ID Zero. I know very few people watched ID Zero when it broadcast. I did. However, I know that it has now been, I believe, dubbed in English, and I think this is now available on Netflix. So I can't honestly give this show high recommendations, but it was not terribly bad. It had nice characterizations, it had a fairly brisk pace, and because it was somewhat obscure, and the desk pad here is brand new, and was available to me for $1 or $2, I'm glad to have it. The third one was from the very sweet Amama Toinazuma, or Sweetness and Lightning show. It's a show similar to Usagi Drop. This one was, folks, am I correct that this was from last year? I don't exactly recall. This was a bit of an experiment. Suruga-ya had 2 of these available, and I only bought one because I wasn't sure how big they were. I wasn't sure if they would incur a separate shipping fee for a second box, so I was a little bit tentative. Of course, now that I see this and I see how lovely it is, and the size of it, and the fact that it was only $1 or $2, I probably should have bought both of them. But, you know, there's a reason perhaps to make another order if I'm willing to risk the shipping. I've been a collector of Shikijiki for a number of years, so I picked up the Steins Gate movie Shikijiki, or pencil board, which you may be more familiar with them as. I'm not a big fan of Steins Gate, but I do love collecting Shikijiki. I did like all of the Yongyamasi yo Azazel-san anime, and this is a really neat, very large image of Azazel. So I believe most of these Shikijiki cost $2 or under. I think some of them went up into the $2.50 American dollar range, but they were all relatively inexpensive. Picked up this one from Yokai Watch. I believe this one was $1, and it actually includes a separate sticker. I don't have any Shikijiki from Yokai Watch, although I do have a dust pad from Yokai Watch, so I figured that this was worth picking up to throw in a display book. I was not a big fan of Golden Time, the anime. This is a Shikijiki from the Golden Time manga. However, this appears to be brand new. The yen price is 250 yen. I think this was 100 yen or 120 yen or something like that. It was $1, so there was very little reason for me not to buy it. Again, I was not a huge fan of Kuroko no Basuke, but this is a very attractive Kuroko no Basuke manga Shikijiki. So now at least I have some representation of Kuroko no Basuke in my Shikijiki collection. Similarly, in the sports anime, I now have a Shikijiki representation of Inazuma 11 for my collection. And this one is particularly interesting because it appears to have useful rulers on the top. So if you actually use this, for example, in school, to put between the sheets of your note paper so the indentations of your writing don't bleed through onto lower pages of your notebook, you can also use this as a ruler. But by the way, in case you weren't aware of what Shikijiki were for, that is one of the intentions for them. I did pick up a Shikijiki from which film is this? The Smile Pretty Cure movie. As many of you know, I am a fan of Pretty Cure. I did watch all of Smile Pretty Cure. I did watch this movie, so I'm happy to pick up a Shikijiki from the movie. This I could not pass up. This was a package. I'm not going to open it up, but a package of 4 Shikijiki from the K-On! Movie. And once again, this was $1 or $2. I think this was $2 for 4 K-On! Movie Shikijiki. It is clearly licensed by KyoAni, still in the original packaging. Um, actually, okay, I may be incorrect. Clearly, the yen price was 700 yen on this, so maybe that's what I paid. But considering that it's four of them, even if it's 700 yen, that's still a hell of a bargain for four of them. Picked up a Little Busters. Am I right? Was this Little Busters? I believe. Yes. 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 Not a huge fan of Little Busters, but I did like the fact that this is semi-transparent. Thus, no image on the back. And it's simply a nice looking image. And this was very inexpensive. I don't follow most hobby anime, but I did not have a Shiki-Jiki representation from Cardfight Vanguard. So since I could pick up a Cardfight Vanguard Shiki-Jiki for almost no money, I wanted this one to put into my binders. I did like Nogizaka Haruka no Himitsu. This is based clearly on the manga rather than the anime. So I would have preferred one with less of a seasonal theme and based on the anime, which I'm more familiar with. But considering that I did really like the franchise, I'm happy to have it regardless. I was not sure, in fact, if I had this Shikihime Shiki-Jiki. I think I actually do have one of these, but I considered that for the low cost, rather than bothering to dig through my collection and find out if I had this, I would just buy it regardless. So either it's a new addition to my collection, or it's a dupe. Either way, I don't mind. As you can see, I'm a fan of Working, so I picked up this Working Season 2 Shiki-Jiki, which, really nice image of the girls. I've watched a little bit more of the Tennis no Oji-sama Prince of Tennis anime. This is what I'm going to consider the front, because this has Ryoga? That's not his name, is it? Ryoma? Is it Ryoma? It's been a while since I watched Echizen. I know his last name is Echizen, so I'm not sure if I recall his first name. But if there's any doubt in your mind, this helps demonstrate that I am doing all of my commentary completely off the top of my head. So forgive me if I forget certain names or details. I also wasn't a huge fan of the Sengoku Basara anime from Production IG, but I do like having representations of a diverse number of shows in my Shiki-Jiki collection, so I'm glad to have this one. I love anime crossovers, so although I was not a big fan of the revival Osamatsu-san anime, I really thought it was lovely. I thought it was really neat to see a handkerchief crossover between Osamatsu-san and obviously the Ultraman franchise. And once again, this was really, really inexpensive. This is stickered at 400 yen. I believe the online price was even lower than that, because I believe this was only $2 or $3. I also picked up this CCS handkerchief. Apparently it is brand new. I thought this was very adorable. However, I particularly bought this to pass along to a particular friend. To be more specific, it's a wife of a friend, but I still call her a friend. Hopefully, if she or they watch this, they'll know who I'm referring to. So, at some point, this will be on its way to you. Another smaller handkerchief. This one is smaller than I expected it to be, but this is a microfiber cloth based on the feature film Fusei. I don't know how many of you remember this film. Honestly, the movie was not quite as good as I hoped it would be, but it was licensed and distributed domestically by Aniplex America. I do love Digicarrot. I've been a Digico fan for many, many years. This is particularly a handkerchief advertising gamers in Akihabara. Digico is the mascot of the gamers store, so this is both a memorabilia, a novelty of the Gamer Store and the Akihabara District. So for the dollar or two, I think this was like $1. For the dollar that this cost, I was really, really happy to have this. Alright, these are significantly bigger than I expected. These are zipper pouches. There are Super Sonico zipper pouches. This is a package of 3 of them. One of them was available separately for, I think, $2. And a package of 3 of them was available for something like $3.50. And so I figured that rather than just buying the 3-pack, I would just buy both, the single one and the 3-pack. I anticipated that these would be roughly this size. I expected them to be small, so I certainly did not expect them to be as gigantic as they are. So considering that these were just a bit over $1 a piece, I'm quite excited. I've mentioned that I really love collaborations. I love Kemono Friends. I like Hatsune Miku. So when I found that there was a clear file available that is a collaboration between Snow Miku and Kemono Friends, I decided, I think even though this was $4, that I would spend the $4 for this because just the collaboration between Snow Miku 2018 and Kemono Friends made this definitely something I really, really wanted to have in my collection. I don't typically collect clear files because they're larger than Shikijiki. They're a little bit more difficult to display, even though they are bigger. But this 2-pack is... I'm not even sure what this was from. This was some kind... Let's see. Dragonai? Dragonar? It's clearly not the 1980s Metal Armor Dragonar. So I'm not sure exactly what these are from. However, the imagery really appealed to me. And these were... I don't recall. They were dirt cheap. That is 2 of them, by the way. I did purchase this particular A5 size adult manga. This was, let me see if I can recall the artist's name. Yoshihisa. I apologize, I've forgotten the artist's full name. However, I think possibly some of you may recognize which book this is. It particularly appeals to my taste, so I wanted to have a physical copy. Similarly, some of you may recognize this particular latest A5 size book by Sakura Fumuki Nell. I am a particular fan of her. I'm not sure if Sakura Fumuki Nell is a male or a female. Given the name, I'm going to take a risk of embarrassing myself and suggest that she is female. However, I'm not going to elaborate too much on this because you either know what this is and don't need explanation, or you don't. And if you don't, then that's just fine. I did purchase a lot of doujinshi. This is one that I was not familiar with, but I thought it was interesting because it was a Batwoman. This one in particular, kind of a chunky, I mean no offense to any female viewers, but kind of a, shall we say, big-boned female Batwoman. I actually considered, at least for a short time, trying to collect Japanese doujinshi featuring American characters. But I came to the realization that many of them are yaoi doujinshi. There are a lot of yaoi doujinshi involving, for example, Marvel characters like the X-Men and Captain America. And while I'm not opposed to yaoi doujinshi or the yaoi genre, it's just not to my taste. And so I decided I don't really want to get that deep into it. So if I can come across them really inexpensively, I will, but I'm not going to make a real concerted effort. One of the primary reasons I made an order to Suruga-ya is to purchase updates to my Dirty Pair Dojinshi collection. This is Imasara Dirty Pair Volume 3 by Joji Manabe. I have had a version of this book for a decade or more. However, I did not have this reprint edition. I had the original edition, which has a different cover art. This is one of, I think, a dozen Dirty Pair Dojinshi that I primarily made this order to acquire. Here is a second Dirty Pair Dojinshi. This one, Gurgura Hampo, Inumaru Hampo. Did I get that name right? I'll show you the back. The reason why I'm covering the lower half is because this is a Dirty Pair Futa book. Once again, not exactly my preference or taste, but I collect every Dirty Pair Dojinshi I can get. And once again, if you know what Futa is, then you know what I'm referring to. If you don't, you may be better off. I do collect Saigato Ishoken Doga Dojinshi. I'm not very familiar with this particular book. You can tell by its content that this is definitely an older book, but according to the Dojin database, this does include Ishogen Doga, possibly Saigato era illustrations. And so when I found this very inexpensively, or relatively inexpensively, I was really happy to pick it up because this is I think those of you that follow Dojinshi will know that this is a very, very rare book. This one from Gambler's Club is primarily a Harinochi Gu Dojinshi. Some of you may remember that AN Entertainment, the licensing division of AnimeNation, licensed and distributed Harinochi Gu on domestic DVD. So I do still try to collect everything Gu related, well, within reason, that I can get. And so I do try to collect Gu Dojinshi when I'm able to get them. So unfortunately I was only able to get one, but one is better than none. This is one of the treasures from the purchase. The Aho Dirty Pair Dojinshi. This one was relatively expensive. I believe this one was, I think with currency exchange, this one ran somewhere in the $45 range. So this one, definitely an older, very, very difficult to find book. A little bit more expensive, but since I'm a Dirty Pair collector, I'm really happy to have it. Similarly, I think I'm going to say we're probably safe here. I don't think there's any, I mean, it may be provocative, but there's no nudity, graphic or otherwise, on this Parodic 2 Dojinshi. I do know for certain that this is the first edition version, because this Dojinshi was reprinted with an alternate cover, which means I will have to track down the alternate cover at some point, but Suruga-ya did not have the reprint alternate cover version. So I believe that is Little Princess Sarah on the back, so it gives you a sense of how old this Dojinshi is. This one as well, I believe this one was in the $25 range. I think this, again, my recollection may be off. Regrettably, wow. So that clearly suffered the obi on this film comic clearly suffered some damage. I'll see what I can do to salvage that. I have one set of Amegami-sama film comics, and I have a partial second set. So I was trying to fill in the second set. Suruga-ya had all 3 books that I needed to finish my second set, but then in the interim, when I was trying to figure out how to order, one of them sold out. So now I have 1 set of 5 and then 1 collection of 4 out of 5. But I believe these were $1 a piece, so that's why it's easy for me to fill up that set. This is smaller than I expected, but this is a illustration book on Kuroshichi. I know some of you may be more familiar with this as Black Butler. In the early days of my anime collecting, I tried to collect anime books from everything I could because I didn't have a VCR. We didn't have anime streaming. So I'm still fond of collecting anime books when I can. And this one was under $3. I believe the yen price on this is 1,000 yen. Similarly, this Show by Rock character book, the yen price on this is 1,100 yen. Again, this was, I think, $250, so it probably in US dollars was about $2. I have to admit, it took me a while to get through both seasons of Show by Rock, because I did like it, I just didn't entirely like the slow and meandering pace of the anime development. But I thought it was an interesting effort by Sanrio to produce a anime clearly intended for otaku, and picking up an illustration book based on this series for a quarter of its cover price makes me very happy. I did not, well actually I did expect this. This is a Gecko no Pierce postcard book. Now, I have to admit that while I have watched a lot of vintage anime, I have not ever gotten around to watching the Gecko no Pierce shoujo OVA. This may give me some more motivation now to actually watch it, since I now have a book from it, but I believe this was 100 yen, and 100 yen for a color book, we should say, from an 80s anime, just really made me giddy. I was really excited to pick up something so obscure as this, so inexpensively. Wow. I did not expect the package. Some of you may be aware that I have, if you can see this, a Knights Project Blade Runner 2019 PKD water pistol replica, because I can't afford the resin, and especially can't afford the all-metal versions. So the smoky, semi-transparent plastic version was initially the best I could do. However, I found out that Fullcock Elfin Knights has now produced a limited version that is more authentic. This one is not transparent. This one does have, of course it's on the opposite side, the illuminated lights are painted the appropriate movie colors. So this was, I believe, I think I paid $38 for this. Yen price on it is 3,000 yen. I did pay more than retail on this. However, I believe the cheapest these are available in America is starting in the 40 range, going up well above that. So I'm going to happily replace my transparent version with the more accurately colored non-transparent version, and that will get passed along to a friend. Oh, alright, this is what I was expecting. You may recall momentarily ago I mentioned that there was a 3-pack of these bags, which I thought were going to be small. Apparently, I ordered more than I realized, because this is another 3-pack that is the size I thought they were. So, no, these are bags. That's what. All right, let's see. Canvas bag. All right, so these are large size canvas bags, and these are the small ones. And this is the one where this blue one was available separately for $2, or the whole 3-pack was available for $3. So I just bought both. So there should be a spare of this. Yes, there it is. There's a spare of the blue Super Sonico pouch. So for $5 for 4 Sonico pouches, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but they're just pretty. Also pretty is, wow, this is larger and heftier than I expected. This is a Kimono Friends colorful one-pon, I guess that means patch, of Caracal from Kimono Friends 2. This is a military Velcro patch. So for example, if you carry military gear or military style EEC gear and you want to swap out motivational patches, that's what this is. It's much bigger and heftier than I expected, but not fully embroidered. The blue is twill and not embroidered, but the rest of this is embroidered. I believe this one was in the $4 range because they went up. I did not get Serval because I believe Serval was $15. And I wasn't sure how big these are or exactly what they were, so I didn't want to invest that much, even though I would prefer to have Serval than Caracal. But this was an experiment, and I'm very happy with what I got for that experiment. These appear to be stuck together. This is the budget edition Anthem of the Heart Blu-ray. I believe, at least on Netflix, I believe this film is available now. Gene may know more because a friend asked for access to this particular film. This is the budget version, I believe, because this one's only $2,500 yen. And there is a limited version that's double the cost. However, I believe even the budget version of the Japanese Blu-ray does have optional English subtitles. I haven't watched this movie yet, so I wanted to pick it up. And I believe I paid only about $10 for this because it's, even though it looks brand new, technically this is a second-hand copy. And again, this is also a little bit smaller than I expected, but here is a Minami-ke fan book. Let's see. Alright, there are nice color pages in here. Some Kante, some episode guides, character guides. Alright. I hesitate to say favorite anime because there are so many anime I love, but in the long list of favorite anime, certainly the 3 seasons of Minami-ke are up there. So I'm really happy to have picked up this Minami-ke illustration book. Again, this was, I think, $250 in American, 250 yen, or 247 yen. Where's my... Minishka has drawn a lot of doujinshi. Minishka Taki has drawn a lot of doujinshi, and a lot of the illustration for example, the Sisters and the Lovers PC game franchises. As you can tell by what I'm able to expose, his art design is very, very anime-esque, very lovely, very detailed. I don't habitually collect Minishika Taki doujinshi, but when I'm able to get them very, very inexpensively, as I was able to get this one, I do purchase them. And that was Volume 2. This is the older Volume 1. I think I can show you the cover of the back because it's, I think we can consider that safe for public view. This one, the green PC game. So that lets you know what the interior content is roughly like. So I'm happy to have both Volumes 1 and 2 of that particular doujinshi. This doujinshi, initially I thought that this was I thought that this was a Tsuyoshi Jogi doujinshi, because the art design is very, very similar. The fetishistic content is very similar, but it's not. However, it does, this particular doujinshi does appeal to me. Should I censor that? Is that, yeah, I think we're safe to show this. I have no idea what this is. I was just flipping through images, and the title was the backside, and it had a butt, and it was like $1. So I figured I'll experiment with that. This particular doujinshi, I'm not familiar with this one really at all. However, Suruga-ya had this listed as a dirty pair doujinshi. That is not Yuri, or not any Yuri I'm familiar with. The back cover looks like original characters. So apparently this is from 1994, Winter Comic. I'm hoping that there is some dirty pair content in here. Otherwise, I guess I probably won't mind having it, as a nice vintage doujinshi regardless. I do like collecting Suruga-ya doujinshi when I can get them. I like Suruga-ya's style of art design, where he draws what we might call realistic women. They're not supermodel skinny, they actually have a little meat on them. Unfortunately, once again, several of the Suruga-ya doujinshi that I had in my cart sold out before I was able to finally complete my order, but I am happy that I at least acquired a few of them. This, oh, alright, I wasn't, this is Azumanga 2. This is the, Kiyohiko Azuma is the character designer for Dian Dokai, and also the creator of Azumanga Daioh and the creator of Yotsuba. This is the second of his illustration collection books. Apparently, this is a slipcase with 3 smaller books inside it. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, alright, apparently one of these is a CD-ROM, according to the back. So I guess it's an illustration and CD-ROM collection. Yen price on this was 1900 yen. I believe this was in like the $2 range. So I figured I like Azuma Kiyohiko's art, so I'll give it a shot, see what it is. Picked up a Heartcatch, I believe this is the Heartcatch Precure movie illustration book. Heartcatch Precure might be my favorite season after Futariwa and Max Heart seasons. So I'm really happy to pick up that book. I've not been a huge fan or follower of Yuri Yuri. However, picking up a nice sized Yuri Yuri book, again, this one I believe was 247 yen. It's a 1700 yen cover price book, so picking it up for $2 is quite a bargain. Oh, I apologize. Oh, alright, I'm going to cheat a little bit, because the Minishika Inishimari is the artist name, and I can remember that because it's on the back in English. I have a half dozen or more, maybe 7 or 8 of this artist's, because I don't think he's a circle. Actually, I think it's just this artist. I have 7 or 8 of this artist's doujinshi, and so when I can pick up more of them inexpensively, I'm happy to. This art design on these is really gorgeous. This is bigger than I expected. This was 100 yen. I didn't know exactly what I was getting into, but I figured wow, it has apparently a set of thick stickers or postcards. I'm not sure what that is. There's a fold-out or detachable poster. Wow. Alright, I am thoroughly impressed. There's pure white, pure black. This seems to be for $1. For $1, this looks like one hell of an awesome reference guide to the Pretty Cure franchise. I am really excited, really pleased by this. This was all a half blind buy. Wow. I think we're safe on this one. Yes. I'm not a huge fan of Dirty Pair Flash, but technically it's still Dirty Pair, so I do buy, and there are very, very few Dirty Pair Flash doujinshi. So I probably can get all of the Dirty Pair Flash doujinshi that I know exist. So I picked up this one. I believe this book was kind of expensive. I believe this book was this in the $10 or $15 range? This one was a little bit more than I wanted to pay, but I'd rather pay it than not have it. Here's another Dirty Pair Flash book. This one is a little bit more common. I believe this one was... this says $7.50. I think that was the item code, because I believe this one was only $3 or $4. This one is, even on Mandarake, this is a very cheap doujinshi. But it's simply a Dirty Pair book I didn't have. Oh, ouch. Oh, ouch. Alright, this doujinshi by Newman clearly took some severe damage in shipping. This is unfortunate. This one, oh yeah, these pages are in pretty rough shape. Some of you may recall that back in the day, Secret Plot by Newman was published in English by Eros Comics, so some of us still have a fondness for his very attractive art design. I'm not a huge fan of the content in this book, but I love the art. This one was like $4 or $5, so I'm a little disappointed that it arrived in such poor shape. Alright, well, I just live and learn. This we should be safe on. Well, alright. The back is censored, but still, I'm gonna keep the back private. Again, I don't know exactly what this is, but the illustration appeals to me, and I'll just leave that to speak for itself. Hopefully, you'll be able to tell what this is. I still do not have all of the existing Risky Safety doujinshi, but I do try to pick up any of them that I can find when I can find them. As many of you may know, Risky Safety was one of the titles that AnimeNation licensed, so I am a big fan and collector of Risky Safety. This, I believe, is actually an all ages Dirty Pair doujinshi. I think that this one is safe. This one was only 300 or 400 yen. This one was really, really cheap by the standards of Dirty Pair doujinshi. Here is another. Ah, this is interesting. This is a safe Minishika Inishimari doujinshi, but this one is clearly just printed pages stapled. So this one is clearly a rush job convention booklet. So that makes it interesting to me, in particular. What can I... alright. I mentioned that I am... well, I guess to be safe, I should censor a lot of this. I mentioned that I am not opposed to yaoi, however, it's not my primary enthusiasm and my primary interest, but I do try to collect all of the Saigato Circle doujinshi, and Saigato occasionally does yaoi doujinshi. So this is one of the two most recent Saigato yaoi doujinshi, and yeah, the back cover is quite intense, so I'll keep that private. Here is the other volume. Again, these are boys. I have learned from years of examining doujinshi that as a rule, actually, even these you can probably kind of distinguish, but I have discovered that as a rule, when you're looking at doujinshi and you see girls that are impossibly beautiful, that are just too beautiful to be girls, they're not girls, they're boys. Here is another. Alright, once again, nothing graphic there. The bottom half is a little bit more intense, but Saigato Doujinshi. Apologize for the phone ringing in the background if you happen to hear it. I'm going to censor this just in case. This is a boy on the cover. However, YouTube might still get angry about toplessness, but Saigato Shota Doujinshi. I was happy to get this. I tried to get this through Mandarake, but it sold out. This is the Japanese theatrical movie program for the Battle Angel Alita movie by Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron. So when you went to a Japanese theater, you could, if you wanted to, spend $10, because that's what these cost. Typically, these are about 1,000 yen, and you could buy this in the lobby of the movie theater. I really loved the movie, Alita Army, and pages are stuck, there's some damage to the pages, so that's why they're stuck together. But I loved the idea of a Japanese manga getting a live-action movie, going back to Japan and getting a Japanese book based on the live-action manga adaptation. This was, I think, 700 yen is what I paid for it. So $7, I'm really happy to have this. This is Neighborhood. This is a full illustration book by Hiroi Rei, the character designer and the creator of the Black Lagoon manga. I like Rei Hiroi's design style more than I like his storytelling, which possibly is why a book like this is appealing to me. But once again, this book, which has a retail price of $23, was $2. I did not have any illustration books for Love Live. This illustration book looks pretty attractive. This was, again, $1 or $2, so I'm happy to have a full-color illustration book for Love Live. I did not have any illustration books on K. This is the K official guidebook. This appears to be, yes. This is a slipcase with a book inside the cardboard slipcase. This obi is actually a separate wraparound. So this is a very, very nice book. Cover price on this is $28. I think I'm going to say that this cost somewhere, it was under $10. It's probably somewhere in a $5 to $7 range is what I paid for this. Is that one safe? Here's one of the Suruga-ya Doujinshi. This one's number 6. There are 8 of these. Shiri-chan Doujinshi. Suruga-ya had several of them that I needed. 2 or 3 of them sold out before I was able to get them. But I think I got at least 2 of them toward my collection. And that's obviously Volume 6. By Inishika, by this artist, there are 3 Kankore Doujinshi. Here's one of them. Here is a second one of them. And here is the third of them. And also, once again, by the same artist, I pick up these doujinshi by this artist when I can get them. So here is yet another. I pick up, as I mentioned, I buy Suruga-ya doujinshi when I can get them. I believe that this is an original character design, original book, made Grand Prix 2001. This appears to be sex and sexy fighting maids. I'm not familiar with it exactly, but I like the artist, so I picked that up. I can't show you very much of this. This appears to be a convention booklet because it's only 300 yen. It's bound at the top. And this is a collection of anime character copy design sketches in arrow poses by Hikari Hayashibara. That is crap. Now her name has temporarily slipped my mind. Pigtails from Azumanga Daioh. It's Chio-chan. It's Chio-chan engaged in some lascivious behavior. I'm going to censor this just in case. I can probably reveal about that just in case. I'm not exactly sure what this doujinshi is. It's a Tsukumizu, school swimsuit emphasis doujinshi. It's pretty substantial in size. I think this was like $1, so I just bought this as a spur of the moment inspiration. Here is a Suruga-ya, very thin, but still it's a doujinshi based on Real Drive, the production IG Masamune Shiro television series that I thought was fantastic. She's a little chunkier than she is in the TV show, and this one is stapled, so this is clearly a convention copybook. I think we're safe here. You can probably tell from this content that this is a Precure a la mode Shota doujinshi. The back cover is just about, I guess it's a slightly different color, slightly different zoom of the front cover illustration. What do we got here? Alright. This is a particularly rare Saigato. Apparently this is definitely a convention promo, because it looks like it's only about 8 pages or so. And I have to say that for about 8 pages, this was $20. So it might be on the expensive side, but it's definitely a rarity. I picked up 2 alternate faces for Nendoroid figures. I do have a handful of Nendoroid case. Actually, you can see here's 2 of them. So the faces by themselves were about $8 or $9 a piece, so I picked up some spare faces. Alright, can't get to that yet, so going back to... Alright. Here is a Dirty Pair Flash doujinshi. This one again stapled, very thin, probably a convention-only doujinshi. This is one of the Lookout books. Normally I would not have bought this one. This one does contain a Dr. Mario playing Doctor with K story in it. I normally don't buy doujinshi that have Dirty Pair content without Dirty Pair on the cover, but this one was really, really inexpensive, so because it was so cheap, I made an exception. This was one of the pricey doujinshi. You can see that that is Kei and Yuri up there in the top corner. I don't know how much Dirty Pair content there is in this book, but I believe this book was $25. So I had to struggle to buy this one. There was another book. They had, I believe it was Detch Volume 4, which has Yuri down here. And that one is, I believe, $78. And I simply couldn't bring myself to pay $78 for just a tiny image of Yuri on the cover. This was a spontaneous whim. Munchen Graph has published lots of doujinshi. This was a adult Ojamajo Doremi. And this was, I think, $1. So the whole concept fascinated me. This particular doujinshi, I know nothing at all about this. I don't know what it's based on. But the cover illustration piqued my interest, and I think this was $1, or maybe it was less than $1, so I figured, what the hell. The Xylophone all-color doujinshi by Estar Go Club is, I apologize, I've forgotten the artist's name off the top of my head. This is the artist of, was it Voice of Submission? I believe it was Voice of Submission that this artist published, that got translated in America as one of the first Ero doujinshi, Ero books to come to America. I mentioned I don't like the content of this book, but I have a personal nostalgic affiliation for this doujinshi, so that's why I decided, even though I don't really like the content, I want to buy this one for nostalgia. I mentioned that I was trying to pick up doujinshi with American characters on them when I could, when they were affordable. Circle Nighthead book, well, obviously with Rogue on the cover. This was a $2 or $3. This one was a little bit more expensive, but still not unreasonable. This is the original version of the reincarnation Dirty Pair doujinshi. I have the reissue version of this book, but I did not have the first edition. So I needed to pick up this edition, so I have both the first and second editions. Good. I'm pretty sure this is what I think it is. This is the... it's in pretty rough shape. However, this was only... I want to say this was only $1. This is the Full Metal Alchemist pamphlet for the movie. Sony put out a series. I believe they put out 5 or 6 of these for the television series, and Volume 2 came with a hard binder that would hold all of them. However, the binder has a slot for one more book. So for years now, I've been trying to figure out, wait a minute, why is there another slot when the TV series books are done? So I'm guessing that extra slot is probably for this book, the movie book. I think. This is another doujinshi I know absolutely nothing about. The cover appealed to me. It was $1. I figured, sure, why not? I mentioned that I buy Minishika Taki doujinshi when I can get them. Here's one of his $28 commercially published illustration books. Once again, this had to have been dirt cheap. I'm talking about under $5, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have bothered to buy it. So I would flip through the interior content, but I'd probably get in trouble, so just take my word for it. I like Okama's character designs, some more than others. Okama is the character designer for Nia Under 7, and Otoko Densha, and crap, there was a cute ninja girls show a number of years ago, and I don't recall the name of it now, but alright, those are knees, those are not nipples. Alright. Yes, that what I showed you before? Yeah, those are knees. Those were knees. 1,500 yen book, this was really dirt cheap, so happy to have that. This is one of the, I'm so disappointed the package is damaged. This is a oddity, a Smart Han Man. This is a portable rice dispenser. Apparently it splits open, you can fill it with rice, and then when you twist the bottom, like a deodorant, on your arm deodorant, it shoots up a tube of rice. So if you are a businessman on the run, and you happen to look like a Japanese now the Ron Burgundy. If you happen to look like a Japanese Ron Burgundy and you need your rice on the run, you can be Smart Han approved. This was, I think, like $1, and as a bizarre Japanese novelty, it was, see, because the dude's running, he's like, work. Yeah, I just couldn't pass this up. It was too interesting. Oh, rice. Yeah. Wow, this is gigantic. A illustration guide to AnimeNation. It's too lengthy of an explanation on an already long video to explain the background on AnimeNation. But if you are curious about this, I encourage you to look it up. However, I did not expect quite a monstrous book for... This even includes a CD-ROM guide. I never had the whole book on CD-ROM, apparently. But yeah, I did not expect such a monstrous book for AnimeNation. But this was a little bit more expensive. But AnimeNation is a weird, rare oddity that I'm really intrigued by, so this was worth it to me. Getting towards the bottom now. More bizarre, weird oddities. Here is a set, I guess it may be difficult to see, like there is a meal. Here there is some tonkatsu with sliced cabbage. These are officially licensed Tonkatsu DJ Agitaro chopsticks. This was a Akitaro Daichi Flash anime television series 2 or 3 years ago. I never imagined that this type of bizarre scratch DJ / fry cook anime would ever get any kind of merchandise whatsoever. But the fact that it got officially licensed anime chopsticks, this was just such a bizarre, unexpected novelty that I just had to have these, and they were really cheap. So this is the kind of stuff that I absolutely love. Completely bizarre, off-the-wall stuff. Okay. Apparently all the little stuff got tossed into one bag. So let's see if we can bust this open and run through what this stuff is pretty quickly. This is smaller than... This is way smaller than I anticipated. I was hoping, because this was like $7 or something like that. I spent more on this because I expected it to be bigger. I'm not a big fan of Boku no Hero Academy, but I love crossovers, and a Boku no Hero Academy and Hello Kitty acrylic standee seemed like a neat display crossover item, but yeah, for the price I paid for this, I expected it to be much bigger than this. Again, I mentioned I love Hello Kitty, I love crossovers. I could not pass up a Hello Kitty and Durarara crossover button. that was pretty inexpensive. This, wow. Alright, this is not, actually, alright, maybe this is the, alright, this is the right item. Those of you that have watched, for example, the Pretty Cure movies know that, particularly for small children, when you go to the movie theater, they give you a Cure light, which is a tiny little light, and then at a certain time in the movie, the characters would say, help, help the Pretty Cure, cheer for the Pretty Cure. And so all the little kids in the audience turn on their little flashlights and wave them in the theater. And I thought, I want one of those. Those are neat. And that's what this is. It's definitely larger than I expected it to be, but this is one of those giveaways that they give you in a theater. This is from the Eiga Precure Miracle Universe movie. I mentioned that I love crossovers. Again, these are also way smaller than I expected, but I love the idea of standee acrylic pins that are Gintama and Sanrio crossovers. Here is a Soul Gem. This one is particularly Madoka Magica's color. I believe this was like $10 or $11. I know Mandarake manufactures their own that are half the price. However, I believe the Mandarake is sold out of Madoka's color. So I specifically wanted the Madoka color Soul Gem. And if you don't know what this is, watch Madoka Magica. Don't let anybody spoil the plot. Don't let anybody tell you what these are. Just watch the anime. These are also a little bit smaller than I expected, but I really dig Usavich. I feel ashamed that I haven't watched the final season, but Usavich, the MTV CG series, is hilarious. And there's relatively little Usavich merchandise, and this has both characters, so I was really happy to pick up something that's small and displayable. This, again, much smaller than I anticipated it being, but Kyoko is by far my favorite character from Haikyuu. She's one of my favorite female characters ever because she's just literally so cool and collected. But this is a standee clip pen. For example, if you clip little bits of paper in it, you can have it stand on your desk to hold the paper up. And the back is a jersey. The front is Kyoko. This was really, really cheap, and it's brand new in its package. These design, right? Otome. Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't sure what these are. These are something I was not familiar with. These are faux leather pads of Post-its. So I guess you can stick them in your pocket. They're colored Post-its. You know what I'm talking about. Pieces of paper that are adhesive. You write notes on them, stick them up on your refrigerator, stick them up. But they come in little faux leather wallets. These two are from Blood Blockade Battlefront, because I can't remember the Japanese title off the top of my head. I really love Chain. Chain Sumeragi is kind of like a more irreverent version of Motoku Kusanagi. I'm not as huge a fan of KK, but these were like $1 or $2 a piece, and I figured that, well, alright, they're kind of neat, what the hell. And so I bought 2 of those, and then I also bought one from Alice to Zoroku, because I couldn't actually get Alice. This is close. Sister is as close as I could get. And this one in here is a Lily Hoshino illustration from Otome Yokai Zakuro. So I apologize that you can't see it, but that's what that is. Otome Yokai Zakuro, illustration by Lily Hoshino. The last thing that's in here is a Stitch bento box and handkerchief. A friend of a friend is a huge fan of Stitch, and this was like a dollar or two, so I figured I'd buy this to pass it along. So that's what cost me $500 or $600. So in order to wrap up, I can say that if any of this looks interesting, if you're curious about any of this, do feel free to ask me questions. If you've been on the fence, or if you're considering making an order from Suruga-ya, you now have a better idea of the condition stuff may come in, for better or worse. It is a potential alternative to Mandarake if you don't want to order from Mandarake or can't, or simply want to try something different. So the last thing that I will say on a different note is relating to AnimeNation rather than me personally. Many of you faithful viewers will know that AnimeNation, or what remains of it, Gene and myself largely, have been running a Patreon to support the continued existence of the AnimeNation forum and blog page. The renewal hosting fees, the upgrades and renewal fees on the forum, the hosting fees on the blog page and the forum come due for payment next month at the beginning of a new year. The total fees come up to $288. Again, we're being completely transparent about these costs. Gene and I want to thank all of you that have donated profusely. We want to profusely thank you who have donated, whether profusely or even minimally, because as of this month, the Patreon donation has hit exactly $288. By a bizarre cosmic coincidence, the donations have literally hit the exact amount of money we need next month to renew and keep the AnimeNation forum and blog page online. So those of you that use the forum and blog, we appreciate you. We look forward to continuing to engage with you. Hopefully more. I admit that some of us are a little bit irresponsible about doing so, but we are grateful for your support, and we do encourage you to continue your whatever support you can give, because it is clearly making a difference, and it is literally exactly what is keeping AnimeNation online. So if you're still with me, thanks for watching this. I will talk to you next time. Bye for now.